Okay, so second jar. And this honey gate, it leaks a little bit. It'll, after you bottle a jar and try to seal it, it'll drip a couple times. It gets a little messy, but for 12 bucks, you can't really complain. The golden flow. I don't bottle very fast because I just like to watch the honey descend into the glass container. It would be neat to have a wing nut that was a little bigger, because let's taste it. That actually tastes different than the first drop. So these two jars could have a different flavor profile. And it's funny, I was talking to another beekeeper and he told me he didn't like the golden lids. And I didn't like them at first, but I think they can grow on you. You can't just want the silver lid. The gold lids are beautiful too. Hold it all the way up. I'm going to have to tilt the bucket here in a second. But yeah, I think you could put this bucket kit together for under $30, and I've seen them going for, 50 different bee suppliers, bee equipment suppliers that put them together for you and charge you the difference. And you can see if you don't wipe the drop, it's just going to continuously sort of. One way to fix that, I guess, is put the next jar under it. Go.
So this is 2 frames, right? How many jars do you get with 2 frames?
It's all variable. If they're fully capped, fully filled out, a couple of mine weren't. So this is more like 2.5. Wait. It'd be the equivalent of 3 full frames if I had to guess. So far I've got a gallon, 4 quarts, and then whatever's left. I'd say there's about a pint left, and I'll leave that in there. I'm not going to deal with it until the next round, but easy enough. So that was pretty quick to get a gallon of honey. And I guess I'll show this real quick. So you want the temperature of your honey to be warm or it won't extract well. So I think a good temperature would be probably between 85 and 90 degrees, just based on common sense. The colder honey gets, it's going to flow at a slower rate. It'll be, I guess, a higher viscosity, and even trying to sling it out in the extractor, it would take longer and you wouldn't be able to get as much out, and the whole process would be slower because they actually make heaters and they charge an arm and a leg to heat your honey up. But if you have a little bit of country boy ingenuity, what I did, I got one of these infrared heaters, and I think this, you know, air coming out might be about 100 degrees. These are high efficiency and they're relatively safe, but I created a cavity so that the air will come into here and rise in these boxes where I have my combs. So if you want to come a little closer, you can see. So this is basically like a chimney for the warm air, and it gets trapped. So this wax, you know, is malleable. If it was too cold, it wouldn't do that. But yeah, so this is pretty warm. I'd say, I don't know, it's probably about 90 degrees, just right. And I'll show you how we can uncap it. It was beautiful. You can see, I guess, different colorations. It looks a little bit red here and a little more blonde here. And there's pockets of dark honey in little areas, if you can see. We'll put it under this light here in a second. But this is new wax. That's why it's so light colored. It's probably the first year that this frame has been drawn out. If you get over there and we'll look at it right here. Oh, so I found out why I didn't get as much. I forgot to pour the cappings through the filter, so you're looking at least half a quart. That's wax with honey from the uncapping process. So this cap scratcher, I guess, I like it. I worked for a local apiary and this is what they used, and they extract, you know, lots and lots of honey. I know they make knives and even heated knives, but if you're, you know, just getting started, this is just fine. And I like to go one direction, and then rake it the other way too, because you're going to miss little pockets of cells. But to try to do it at different angles. The guy I worked for, they had a much larger operation. I'm trying to keep from slinging this stuff all over the house. But again, they try to sell you uncapping boxes, and if you have a small operation, all you need is a large stainless steel bowl and use what you've got. Beekeepment, a lot of it is very necessary, and a lot of it seems to be kind of like a racket. So if you've got 5 hives or 10 hives, even 20, and you've got the time and patience, a stainless steel bowl will work just fine. So I think I got this pretty thoroughly. Then we got this one. This frame is a lot lighter than the last ones that I just did. So but if you zoom in just a little, you might get to see if your wax is if you heat it up too much, it actually doesn't work as well. And if it's cold, it's very hard to uncap. So the heater that I used has really gotten this to what I consider to be an ideal temperature for this process. Got a fat section down there, that's good. But yeah, you know, a frame, depending, the cells can be deep or shallow depending on your hive and how your frames are spaced. So a real fat comb can have twice as much honey as a skinny comb on the same frame. So I'm going to flip it so we don't have too many drips, and then put it in this extractor. I'm going to flip it again. Put the heavier end to the outside wall. And I have a couple of small complaints about this extractor. One, it only does 2 frames at a time, and you have to flip them mid-process. But this handle gets in the way, you know, and it's no big deal, but it's a small complaint. This thing is built to last a lifetime. It's real heavy duty, so I basically paid twice as much to have something that was made in the USA. Now, this is a big fat comb. I'm going to try to choose a frame that's of a comparable weight. You don't want to put a real fat comb in with a skinny one. So I'm going to get this frame looks pretty comparable. Well, this is my lightest one, so I'm going to throw it in there. Alright. It's probably going to have some wobble to it. But you can see, this looks a little darker than the last one. And this wax, I guess it was on the outside edge. I think it's a little bit colder. And so it's got a little bit more rigidness to it, which is fine. It's working just right. And I'll flip this. Whoa. But you can see the different nectars just within one frame. When this blends together, it's going to have a really unique flavor. And it's funny, it's real hard to find, in my opinion, a good bee location. Not every nectar source is equal. And the people around here, they expect, I guess, a wildflower type honey. So it's always a mix. But we have tallow trees all through town and surrounding counties that produce tons of honey. So, put this one in there. And get ready to sling it out. Keep this one open. It's always fun when you sling it out, the honey. These frames spinning kind of fan the odor of the honey into the room so you can smell it. Oh, failed to function.
Bloopers.
Oh no, that's good. That's all right. That's interesting. Oh, carnage happened in the slinger. It's wood.
Oh.
That could be edited out.
What's the wood from?